Breaking news just in, music producer and Amapiano pioneer DJ Sumbody has died.
The details surrounding his death are still unclear, but unconfirmed reports indicate he was shot and killed.
November 20th, 2022, just after midnight. Woodmead, Sandton. One of those places where wealth creates a false sense of safety. Wide roads, quiet intersections, private security cruising in loops. The kind of environment where violence feels out of place. That's exactly why it works. That night, Oupa Sefoka, known publicly as DJ Sumbody, was executed, not robbed, not warned, removed. The gunfire didn't sound frantic or desperate. It sounded disciplined. 48 rounds fired with intention, not emotion. Whoever planned it wasn't trying to send a message to one person. They were sending a message to everyone watching. At first, the explanations were predictable. Club rivalries, street grudges, lifestyle politics. That's how these stories usually get buried. But this killing didn't behave like street violence. It didn't unravel quickly. No one bragged. No one slipped up. No shaky alibis fell apart. The silence that followed was almost louder than the gunshots themselves. That silence is what made investigators uneasy. Because real street crime leaks. Someone always talks, someone always flexes. This didn't. And that's when the focus shifted away from shooters and toward structure, toward organization, toward something operating above the noise. That's where the name Katiso, KT Molefe, enters the picture. Not as a man with a reputation for violence, but as a man with something far more valuable: access. Former national lottery executive, corporate background, a person who understands governance, financial systems, and how money disappears without triggering alarms. According to the state, Molefe wasn't hiding from the criminal world. He was allegedly running a version of it that looked legitimate on the surface. This is where the Big Five cartel matters. The Big Five, as described by prosecutors, wasn't a gang in the traditional sense. No colors, no public hierarchy, no street-level identity. It functioned like a private enterprise, diversified operations, clear division of labor, outsourced enforcement, and most importantly, insulation at the top. Violence never flowed upward. Responsibility never flowed downward. In this model, Molefe allegedly sat where CEOs sit, far from operations, focused on outcomes, not methods. Money moved through layered companies. Communication happened through intermediaries and burner devices. Decisions didn't sound like orders. They sounded like approvals, and that's how accountability gets blurred. Below that level sat the enforcement arm. Men who didn't need motivation speeches or explanations. Former police officers. Trained professionals who understood response times, evidence handling, and investigative blind spots. They knew which mistakes mattered and which ones didn't. According to the state, they weren't hired per job. They were retained, salaried, equipped, housed. This wasn't freelance violence. It was institutional. Targets weren't rushed. They were studied, patterns mapped, movements tracked. When the operation happened, it happened quickly, then disappeared just as fast. That's why DJ Sumbody's killing didn't collapse under pressure. It was built to withstand it. The first real crack didn't come from witnesses or informants. It came from ballistics. Firearms leave signatures whether criminals like it or not. When shell casings from different crime scenes were analyzed, the patterns started lining up. Same weapon behavior, same microscopic markings, different locations, different victims. One armory, one logistics chain. Suddenly, DJ Sumbody's murder wasn't isolated. It was part of a sequence. Then came the error that systems like this can't survive. April 2024, Vereniging. A hit allegedly connected to a Transnet tender scandal goes wrong. The intelligence fails. The wrong man is identified. Armand Swart, an engineer with no criminal background, is killed simply because he fit the wrong description. Same area, similar vehicle, wrong life. That death changed the entire trajectory of the investigation because this time there was no narrative to hide behind. Pressure escalated immediately. Specialized units stepped in. Cell tower data was pulled. Burner phones were reconstructed piece by piece. And according to prosecutors, one of those digital threads led somewhere unexpected. Not to a shooter, not to a middleman, but higher, much higher, to KT Molefe. By late 2025, he was arrested. On paper, the state believed it had finally connected structure to outcome. Ballistics tied the weapons together. Communication data linked operational layers. The Big Five hierarchy was mapped. It looked like a turning point. Then reality intervened. Molefe was granted bail, 400,000 rand. While the alleged enforcers remained behind bars, the man accused of authorizing the system walked free. The defense didn't deny the deaths. They attacked proximity. No recording of an order, no witness hearing instructions, no footage placing Molefe at any crime scene. Circumstantial, a powerful word when power is involved. In early 2026, new information began leaking from the Madlanga Commission. Testimony about delayed forensic processing, evidence that moved slower than protocol allows, ballistics that took months longer than standard. The implication was clear without being stated outright. Someone didn't just try to win in court. Someone allegedly tried to control time itself. That's what makes the Big Five allegations so dangerous. It's not just about murder. It's about how crime evolves when it adopts corporate discipline, when violence becomes a service, when legitimacy becomes camouflage, when the person with the most control never appears dirty enough to prosecute. Now the cases are being consolidated. DJ Sumbody, DJ Vintos, Armin Swart. One docket, one courtroom, one moment where the system has to decide whether it can hold someone accountable when the violence never touched their hands. Because if this prosecution succeeds, it doesn't just take down individuals. It exposes a model, a blueprint for modern organized crime. And if it fails, it sends a different message entirely. That power doesn't need to pull triggers. It just needs to stay far enough away. When KT Molefe walks back into court, the question isn't whether people died. That's already established. The question is whether the billionaire ghost can finally be seen, or whether he disappears again, hiding behind structure, distance, and silence. And that answer matters more than most people realize.